to a close and May was the star of the show. The audiences were speaking amongst themselves as they left the tent about how amazing they thought she was. Butler's magic show was set to begin within an hour, so everybody had a chance to get some fresh air whilst the tent was being prepared for the show. Ash, Brock, Pikachu and Max were the last ones in the tent, hoping to try and find May. Butler noticed they were still hanging around and walked on over to them. "You kids still here, I see," he said. "Yeah, we were hoping to catch up with May before the show started, just to congratulate her," replied Ash. "We haven't seen much of her all day, so would it be okay to see her?" asked Brock. Butler had a feeling they would ask about May. He was determined to make sure nobody was suspicious about what he was doing, so he responded in a flash, "I'm sorry, but May is very busy right now. Lots of preparation is needed for her to get ready for the show, and she can't be disturbed, but she's our friend. She probably appreciate getting to see us before the show," said Ash. "I understand that, Ash, but show business is a very busy process. She understands that and said that she will catch up with you as soon as the show is over, okay?" Ash and the others looked disappointed. Max was especially annoyed because he had so much he wanted to ask her about how on earth she got so acrobatic. Ash suddenly realized something and spoke up. "Hey, Butler. You had 2 clowns in your previous show, so I still need to do my part, right? You said you needed some replacements and May wasn't the only one. Blast, I completely forgot about this brat," he thought to himself. "I don't need his help anymore, now that Maisie is the only clown I need. But if I take him away, then his friends will get too suspicious and my plans will eventually be ruined. I can't afford to lose my gold mine and give her back to her friends. If I'm going to keep her in my services, then I need to settle this tonight." Butler asked Ash, wondering why the few moments of silence. "Oh, I'm sorry there. I just realized something about the show. We won't be needing your assistance after all." "What? But why?" "Because some of the tricks I'll be performing tonight won't require you both. Based on you and May's performance, I feel that she will be best suited for tonight's show." "Really?" "Aw man, Pikachu," replied Pikachu, disappointed in his response. "Show business is a tough road. Trust me, it was very difficult to pick between you both, as the both of you are so good, but in the end only one is required tonight, and after being the judge I have had to go along with May." "I'm sorry, Ash." "No, it's okay. I understand where my true talents lie. Mine is to be the world's greatest Pokemon master," he said, beginning to feel proud of himself. "I won't stop until I accomplish my true goal, but thanks for giving me a chance, sir. It was a lot of fun." "Thank you for understanding, Ash. I wish you the very best of luck in your journey. I'll be waiting for you to appear in the Pokemon League." Butler smiled, not only to keep his cover intact, but at the same time he did slightly admire his determination. Ash reminded him of when he was his age. "So we can see May after the show for sure, right?" asked Max, starting to feel impatient. "Of course, Max the Great. She has said she will see you immediately afterwards, so don't worry." "Okay then," he replied with a sigh. Then we have a lot of work to do, kids, so I'll need you to step outside while we prepare. See you later on." "Sure, okay. Looking forward to watching you and May again," said Ash with a smile as the group headed outside. Butler started walking backstage to find May, feeling relieved he had got rid of the kids. Now the show can go on without a problem. "After tonight, Maisie will be mine forever." Butler found May standing perfectly still in one spot backstage whilst crew members were carrying out equipment to put on the stage. The bells on her costume jingled as she turned around to face Butler walking towards her. "Aw, there you are, Maisie, my number one clown." "You were truly amazing out there." May didn't respond and just continued to stare lifelessly at him, awaiting an order. "Let's head back to the trailer quickly and go over plans." "So coming up?" "Follow me, my dear." Diane, who had been busy all day preparing for the show, appeared backstage and caught up with Butler. "Hello, dear. How are preparations going?" she asked. "Everything is going just fine, Diane. You missed out on an amazing circus. May here is a truly gifted individual and stole the show you performed in the circus," Diane asked, looking at May. Being asked a question from somebody else from Butler triggered May into acting happy and jolly. "Yes. I was the best clown ever in the circus," she replied enthusiastically. "I took over for somebody who was feeling sick." "Oh, I see. Well, I'm sure you were brilliant out there. Thank you very much for helping out with that in our magic show. We really appreciate all your hard work." She smiled. "Thank you," May replied and did a jumping twirl. "Diane, I need to head back to the trailer with Maisie really quickly. I shall rejoin you shortly." "Okay then. See you both very soon," she said, and walked off to go and help set the stage up. May then went back to being monotone and looked towards Butler. "Well then, Maisie, let's go to the trailer now." "Yes, master," she replied and walked behind him inside the trailer. He instructed May on how she would make her entrance and what she would need to bring out on stage for his magic acts. Before heading back out, he remembered he had to make sure he found a way to keep May to himself after the carnival would be over. Knowing everything would be packing up and leaving in the morning, he then started to get serious with her. "Now listen to me, Maisie. After tonight's show, we will be leaving this place to go traveling around the world to do our shows for many other people. With your amazing performance today, I have decided that you will be staying as my clown forever. Of all the clowns I've ever worked with, you are the greatest one I have ever known and really want you to stay with us. I know you must have your own goals being with your friends and brother, but the time has come for you to say goodbye to them. You are a clown now, and your destiny is to entertain thousands of people throughout the world." He took a deep breath before speaking again. No response came from May, as she obediently listened to his every word. He took out his pokeball containing Curlia, ready to deepen his grip on her. "Come on out, Curlia," he said, this time sounding more serious than enthusiastic. He opened the ball and Curlia was released. It was looking a little bit puffed out. "Curlia, my friend, I need your help one last time today. Maisie is taking part in our show and needs your assistance." Curlia, it replied, not feeling all that good. It got on with it and cast its hypnosis on May once again. May bended down slightly and her arms raised upwards a little, as Curlia was increasing its hypnosis on her. "Listen carefully, Maisie. It's about your two friends and your little brother Max. I want you to completely forget about them and focus on your new life as a clown for me. If they ask about you going back with them, then you will tell them that you are going to travel with me for a little while to improve your skills as a clown. You will tell them that you will rejoin them again when I can find other clowns. But you already know that you will stay with me forever to be Maisie the clown for the rest of your days. Do I make myself clear?" "Yes, Master," May responded. "I'm Maisie the clown now and will leave my friends and brother Max to be with you." "Excellent. Curlia, you may stop now." Curlia stopped its hypnosis and was starting to wobble around a bit. "Now then, Maisie and Curlia, let's get back to but before he could finish his sentence, Curlia then collapsed on the floor and passed out. Curlia, Butler cried and picked up his Pokemon, feeling really worried. Curlia, please open your eyes. Curlia opened its eyes weakly and tried to move. Kiki, oh no, this is terrible. We need to get you help, and quick. Just then Diane came rushing into the trailer, slamming the door open. As she came in, Butler, what's wrong? I heard you calling out just now. What's going on? She saw Curlia in his arms. Deacon rushed over to his side. Oh no, what's wrong with Curlia? Curlia, are you alright? Butler's mental state was all over the place. He was scared for his friend and didn't even realize that it was his own fault. He didn't consider that Curlia would tire out from using its new hypnosis ability too much. At the same time, he was dead set on making sure the magic show was a success, but without Curlia being able to do it, he was lost. Butler, what happened to Curlia? How did it get like this? Diane asked. I have no idea. We were just about to get ready for the show and it just suddenly fainted. What am I going to do now? Curlia looked upon Butler with a sad look, knowing that what its friend had asked was too much for it to handle. Deep inside its heart, it felt terrible for making May a slave for Butler and wanted to show anger towards him. But it was too tired out to do so and felt scared about how Butler would react. Butler just looked at it in a state of confusion. He had gone so mad with power that he was no longer thinking straight. Butler, I'll stay here and look after Curlia. You need to get ready and put on the magic show, she told him. But Diane, I need you. Without you or Curlia, what am I going to do without my helpful assistance? Diane then just realized that May was in the trailer as well. She was so focused on what was wrong with Curlia that she didn't notice her. What about May? She said, and stood up, holding Curlia in her hands to talk with May. May, I know you've been really busy already today, but can I be a pest and ask for your help on this one? I hate to ask when you have enough on your plate, but would you be okay with taking over the roles Curlia and I do? We have separate acts, so you won't need to play double roles. May just stood there, still in a slanted posture, staring blankly forwards. May, are you alright? She asked, looking concerned. You seem to be a bit lost. Butler dashed towards May and immediately took action. Please, could you help us out? I'll show you what you need to do, he asked, knowing full well she would agree. May triggered into her jolly state of mind. Yes. I'll help you, she replied cheerfully. Diane wanted to say thanks, but found her behavior quite strange. Her reaction and behavior, something about it seemed quite unnatural. She didn't look concerned at all for Curlia and looked really out of it. Is something the matter? Oh, thank you so much, my dear. We are eternally grateful for your assistance today. We must leave at once and get prepared for the show. Okay. Let's go, she replied and did the spin. Diane was still watching May, not feeling entirely convinced that she was alright. Thank you, Diane. As soon as this is over, I'll get back to Curlia right away and do what I can. Okay then. Good luck, you two. Curlia will be just fine, so don't worry too much. I'll take good care of it, Diane replied, trying to give Butler some encouragement. Thank you. Let's go, Maisie the clown, and get this show ready. Yay, showtime. They both left the trailer and headed off back towards the tent. Diane sat down with Curlia, still thinking about the situation. It's okay, Curlia, I'm right here for you, she said, smiling. Curlia, it replied weakly. Time passed and the audience were all sat back in their seats, eagerly waiting for the show to begin. Ash, Brock and Pikachu were excited to watch it again, mainly for how May would take part. Max wanted to feel the same but still couldn't shake the feeling that something felt off. The boys looked towards him, wondering what was up with him. "Aren't you excited to see May perform again, Max? She's been amazing tonight, so cheer up. She'll need you to cheer her on," Brock told him. "Yeah, I know, but I feel like something is wrong and it's really bugging me." "Like what?" asked Ash. "I dunno. I just feel like something isn't quite right. Maybe you're just feeling impatient on finding out how your sister was so talented. It won't be long till we can see her again, and then you can ask all the questions you need to," replied Brock. "I guess I'm just not sure." Just then the lights dimmed and an announcer was heard on the "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for the greatest magician you've ever seen. Here's the great butler along with his faithful sidekick Macy the clown." The audience cheered and clapped as loud as they could as they saw Butler and May walk onto the stage. They were both smiling at everybody and waving their arms to say hello. "Look, there she is," said Ash excitedly. "Picker," replied Pikachu happily and waved towards her. "She's looking pretty happy out there. She's bound to put on a great show," said Brock. Max didn't say anything and just clapped. "Welcome everybody once again to the great Butler's Magic Show," Butler called out. "Tonight we've got an even greater amount of tricks up our sleeves, even better than the previous night. For those new to the show, don't worry, because some of our most spectacular tricks will get another showing tonight. But before we begin, I'd like to make an announcement. Unfortunately, my lovely assistant Diane and my good friend Curly are unable to perform tonight due to some unexpected events, but do not worry. They will be just fine and are with you all in spirit. But tonight we have the one and only Maisie the Clown to help us out in their absence. Please give this amazing clown the applause she deserves." The audience did just that and even rose from their chairs to root her on. May waved at the audience and did a few spins on the spot. "Thank you, everybody. I'll do my best," she said cheerfully. "Now then, let's get on with the show," Butler called out, and the show got well underway. Just as Butler had hoped, the show went on well without any issues. May was doing exactly as instructed for each act and never once got anything wrong in the short time she had to practice. The audience were giving the biggest applause for all the acts May was a part of, as she was the most impressive to them. Meanwhile, back in the trailer, Diane sat quietly with Curly, who was fast asleep on her lap. She was still pondering about what caused it to get this tired, as well as May's behavior. "I may be overthinking all this, but what if both of these events are somehow connected? Am I just getting ahead of myself, or is there perhaps some truth to it all?" The trailer door opened and a crew member came in to check up on the both of them. "Hey, how you holding up here?" Some of the guys spread the word that Curly wasn't feeling too good, so I came to see If you were okay, thank you, she replied. Curly is just taking a rest. Hopefully, it'll be okay once it wakes up, poor little thing. Wonder what exactly happened to it. I don't know. But I can't help shake the feeling that something is going on and that it isn't good. Just then Curlia opened its eyes, noticing Diane and the staff member. Hey Curlia, how are you feeling? Diane asked it till it replied with a faint smile. We are all here for you and will do what we can to help you feel better, she replied, smiling back. Curlia then looked towards the staff member and then got an idea. It sighed, knowing that it didn't want to do what it planned on doing. What's wrong? Curlia asked the staff member. Curlia looked towards Diane and tried to ask her to watch what it was going to do. Are you okay, Curlia? Are you trying to tell me why you got tired out? Diane asked. It nodded its head and turned its attention towards the staff member. Curlia's focus was purely on him and started to use the strength it had left to use its hypnosis on him. Curlia? What are you doing? Asked Diane, feeling quite shocked. Curlia stopped using its hypnosis on the staff man and he began to fall asleep. It then looked towards Diane, still in complete shock, and tried to explain to her what Butler had been up to. No longer could it hold back and went full out on the truth. The guilt it felt was too much for it to bear. Curlia, what are you trying to say? Diane asked, not understanding its Bachman language. Curlia desperately tried to make her understand by also using its hands to explain the situation. It took some time, but Diane was now starting to slowly piece together things. So you can use hypnosis now, and you were using it on somebody? But who was it? May's strange behavior earlier. No, it couldn't be. Curlia, did you hypnotize that girl to enhance her abilities? Curlia, it replied, and then looked downwards, feeling really sad. Diane could tell that Curlia wasn't happy about doing what it did and started to piece together something else. You didn't want to do this, so somebody made you do this to poor May? It nodded its head without saying anything. Diane's eyes widened as she thought about who could have done it. No, please, no. Don't tell me it was Butler. Curlia nodded its head again and drifted off back to sleep, feeling tired from using its powers again. Diane remained silent for a few seconds, shocked that the man she had been childhood friends with would do such a thing. She didn't want to believe it, but knew denying so wouldn't solve saving May. This isn't happening, she said to herself. She then slapped the staff man to snap him out of Curlia's hypnosis. Ow, what was that for, Diane, and what's going on? I'll explain later. I really need you to watch Curlia for me. Something wrong is happening and I need to go and sort it out, please. Sure, okay, he replied and stood up. You feel all right, Diane? You look really worried. I'll be back soon. Please keep watch, she said, and charged out of the trailer, heading towards the tent. Butler, what is wrong with you? Meanwhile, the magic show was coming to a close. The final act was about to begin, which was the exploding box trick from the previous night. Thank you, everybody, for being such a wonderful audience this evening. We shall end tonight with the greatest trick I have up my sleeve. May came onto the stage pushing a big box onto the stage. She was just about to head backstage when Butler stopped her for a second. My amazing assistant Maisie the Clown will be taking part in trying to escape the burning box, in which she will escape the box before it bursts into flames. May cheered, clapping her hands, and skipped on over to the box. She sat inside it and Butler sealed it up. Dusclops, step forward, he called, as his Dusclops walked on stage. Being that Maisie is amazing at everything she does, she will have no problem escaping the box before it is destroyed by Dusclops' hyper beam. She will only have 10 seconds to escape, so let's begin the countdown. As the countdown began, the audience were getting tensed up. Ash and Max already knew how the trick worked but was looking forward to the result nonetheless. Brock was the most excited out of them, even if he had watched it already. Butler was pumping up the audience, getting louder, as each number went down. 4, 3, 2, stop. Stop, the show called out a voice from behind the curtain. Butler stopped and turned around to see Diane running on the stage. Butler was lost for words and tried to convince the audience this was part of the show. Well, it seems my lovely assistant Diane has made a special guest appearance for the show's finale. Give her a round of applause, he said nervously. What is she doing here? Can't this wait? Diane rushed over to the box and opened it up to reveal May still sitting inside and got her on her feet. The audience looked in a state of confusion, as all their excitement faded away. Butler was now beginning to panic, as he had worked out why Diane had let May out. Everybody listen to me, Diane called out with a look of sadness on her face. This girl is not in the right state of mind at all. Diane, what are you doing? Butler asked, now beginning to shake. Diane pointed her finger towards Butler with a look of rage on her face. That man has put this girl in a deep hypnosis, forcing her to be his slave. Our friend Curlia was forced to hypnotize her. The audience were deeply shocked, as well as Ash's group, who immediately rushed on over to their friend. You've gone mad, Butler. Ever since Curlia learned that ability, you have become obsessed with power, and now you have led Curlia to the point of exhaustion. It couldn't cope with its powers, and you've made it feel so guilty for its actions. What is wrong with you? Butler was speechless now, in a state where his friend, since childhood, was now against him. Down upon him angrily, and his Pokemon walked away backstage, feeling disappointed in him. His emotions were building up, thinking about all the events that had transpired. No, what have I done? He yelled, as he collapsed to the ground, clenching his hands on his head. May cried out at his group, as they got on stage to help May. May stood there lifelessly like a doll and didn't react to anything around her. May, it's us. Wake up, said Ash, waving his hand in front of her. There was no response. He took her by the shoulders and shook her back and forth. May still didn't react to anything, no matter how hard Ash tried. Max was enraged and walked on over to Butler, who was in a state of despair. I knew that something was wrong. What have you done to my sister? Why won't she wake up? He shouted angrily. Butler looked towards Max but couldn't muster up any words to respond with. Give back my sister, he demanded, feeling the verge to punching him. Max, calm down, said Brock, and held him back from doing anything reckless. He turned his attention to Butler and looked angry as well. Do something about this, he said firmly. Your reputation is already damaged, so don't damage yourself anymore for the sake of others." Butler knew Brock was right. He had already lost his audience's respect and even Diane's. The woman who he had been friends with since childhood was also the woman he now had romantic feelings for. If he lost her, then he would be truly alone. He stood up and started to confess towards everybody. "Everybody, what you see and have heard is all true. I did force Curlia to hypnotize this girl and enhance her abilities through complete obedience to me. I've been feeling ashamed of myself lately. After last night's fiasco with Team Rocket and losing more clowns, the stress got to me. So many times we have lost many talented people and I just couldn't take it anymore. So, when my friend Curly learned hypnosis and I saw that May here was having trouble, I wanted to help her. So I hypnotized her to make her better. But the power of having somebody at my command got to me and I lost sight of myself and became corrupt. I want to undo the wrongs I've done, so please." Butler was about to shed a tear but tried to hold it in. Diane knew what he had done was completely wrong and was angry at him, but deep down she could tell he was being genuine. She knew he was going through a lot of stress, as she had seen it throughout the months of shows they put on. "Please, will you give me the chance to undo what I have done?" he asked everybody in the tent. The audience spoke amongst themselves with mixed feelings about what was happening. Max, however, nodded his head, agreeing to Butler's request. "Fine. But please get my sister back to normal, Max the Great. I promise you I will make things right." Butler took a few minutes break to return to the trailer to get Curlia. Ash and Max went along with him whilst Diane and Brock stayed with May. Curlia opened its eyes to see Butler walk in and immediately hesitated to look at him. "Curlia, I understand now that what I have done was wrong. I forced you into doing something you didn't want to do and have tired you out to the point of exhaustion. I feel like the worst friend ever." Curlia was surprised to hear him feel guilty for what he had done. It turned to look at him and could see the guilt in his eyes. "I promise you that I will never do this to you ever again. From now on I'll wait the normal way for a new clown to help us in future shows. I'll never force it upon people ever again. Nobody should be forced into becoming something they are obeyed to do. They have the choice to do what they can. So please, Curlia, can you ever forgive me?" Curlia felt the truth in his words and felt like that its friend had finally woken up and seen the light. It managed to walk on its own 2 feet and jumped into his arms, cuddling him. "You forgive me?" "Curlia," it replied happily, meaning that it said yes. Tears of joy began to stream down Butler's face as he cuddled his Pokemon. "I'm so sorry," he sobbed. "Curlia," it replied with a tear in its eye. Ash and Max smiled, knowing that Butler was now back to being himself. "In order to fix this mess I've caused, I need your help one last time." "Curlia," Butler told it. "Curlia," it replied, knowing what he was going to say. "I need you to break May out of the hypnosis and return her to normal. Can you do that?" "Curlia, fantastic. Now everybody, let's get back and fix this." "Got it," replied both Ash and Max. As they headed back to the tent, Butler and the others returned to the stage with Curlia in tow, ready to finally fix things. "Butler," Curlia said, Diane in relief, knowing that Butler was going to keep true to his word. "Everybody in the audience, once again I apologize for the monster I have been and will now show my apologies by getting May back to her normal state." "Curlia, do your thing." "Curlia," it replied happily and gracefully danced its way over to May, who was still standing lifelessly. Curly, now energized with hope, concentrated on May and began to chant in front of her. May's attention was focused on Curlia, as Butler walked on over to instruct May one last time. Maisie, no. May. When I snap my fingers at the count of 3, you will return to your normal self. Maisie, the clown is over now, and the girl you once were will return. 1, 2, 3. He snapped his fingers and Curlia finished chanting. The life had completely returned to May's eyes, and she jumped, seeing the audience and realizing she was on the stage. Where am I and what's going on? She cried in a state of shock. May. You're back, cheered Max, as he went to cuddle his sister happily back. What's going on here? What am I doing in the tent? It's a long story, May. We'll explain later, once the audience has finished cheering for you. Ash smiled and pointed to her, the audience, who clapped and cheered for her and Butler. May had no idea what was going on and looked really confused. She turned around to see everyone else smile at her, give them a wave. May. We'll explain everything afterwards, Diane insisted. Oh. Okay, she replied. She waved at the audience and began to smile. Thank you, she called out, even if she still didn't know what to think. Diane looked towards Butler and smiled at him. Diane, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. I lost sight of myself and became somebody I'm not. You must hate me, right? Diane walked closer to him and took his hand. What you did was wrong, Butler. But at least you realized your mistakes before it was too late and corrected them. I'm just happy the Butler I know is back. I have you to thank, Diane. If it were not for you and Curlia, then I would have gone down the wrong path. Thank you for stopping me. The both of them hugged each other happily, as Ash and the others smiled, for the morning had arrived and the carnival had come to an end. Butler had already had a private chat with May to explain everything that had happened since yesterday. She was furious for him controlling her, but after his deepest apologies, she eventually forgave him. She rejoined Ash, Brock, Max, and Pikachu with a bouquet of flowers in hand. Did Butler give those to you? Asked Ash. Yet. It was his way of saying sorry for everything he's done, and as thanks for helping him, even if I have no memory of anything that's happened. So many hours of my life gone, and I wish I knew what I was doing. Well, I remember you throwing a cream pie in Ash's face. It was actually pretty funny, now that I think about it, said Max, beginning to chuckle. Max, don't you bring that up, said Ash, feeling really embarrassed. Then afterwards you used one of those fake out flowers to squirt water in Brock's face. Max was now beginning to properly laugh. Wait, I did all that, replied May in shock. Max couldn't stop laughing and then remembered something else. That rubber nose you had on was funny as well. When you squeezed it at me. May was fascinated by what she told her, and then remembered something she had in her pocket. She took it out and smiled at Max. Oh. You mean this one, she said, showed him the rubber nose she had on from yesterday and squeezed it. To him making a honk noise. Max collapsed on the floor and laughed harder than ever before. Ash, Pikachu, and Brock laughed too, seeing Max laugh, which eventually led to May joining in as well. After everything at the carnival was packed up onto the trucks, the kids were standing by Butler and Diane's truck. Butler and Diane were looking out the window, speaking with them. Well, it's been fun, but it's time for us to move on. We've got plenty more shows to do, said Butler. We'll be setting off now, Ash replied. It's been fun despite the mess that's now been sorted. Thanks to you and your crew for making this a fun break for us. The pleasure is ours, guys. We hope you can come again soon one day and watch our show. We look forward to it, replied Brock. Let's make the next time we meet up even better, said Max. If you need my help to be Maisie the Clown next time, then just say the word, said May, giving a friendly wink to him. But let's do it the normal way next time, okay? You have my word, May. I'm a better man now and I have all of you to thank. No problem, Butler. You and Diane take care. Good luck with your futures, everyone, said Diane. I'll look forward to our next encounter. The truck's engine began to start, set to take the lead for all the other drivers with their trucks. Butlers began to drive away and he and Diane waved out the window. Goodbye, Ash, Pikachu, May, Brock, and Max the Great. Until we meet again, goodbye, replied the others, as they watched all the trucks drive away, taking the carnival with them. They kept on waving till they were out of sight. Well, I suppose we better get going too, said Ash. Lead the way, Ash. To our next adventure, replied May happily, as they all headed off in the opposite direction to continue their journey. As Butler and Diane drove away, they looked back at the empty field where the carnival once stood. It's only been for a little while, but I'm already starting to miss those kids, said Diane, recollecting on the events that transpired. As will I, Diane. As will I, replied Butler in a soft tone of voice, also thinking back on everything. But one thing, however, stood out in his mind. Maisie. Weeks had passed since the events of the carnival, and Ash's journey with his friends continued as normal. Ash won another gym badge in his quest to enter the Hone Pokemon League, and May had earned her next ribbon in another Pokemon contest to become the best Pokemon coordinator. Sometimes, however, May would have some strange instances where she faded out and woke up not knowing what was going on. When it came to some random evenings, those moments lasted longer, but she would always wake up still in her sleeping bag, not even knowing it happened. As time went on, these fade outs would grow worse each time. When it happened, a different personality was within her mind. That personality would be wearing colorful clothing and have a cheerful attitude. Sometimes a certain person would appear in those moments as well. Someone who she felt like she had to listen to and obey every command that person made. Small pieces of her mind would slowly fade as time progressed, completely unaware that she would become something else. The end.